we put him in the group, but he was like in no man's
left
land.
me behind.
Wow, left him behind, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, no, I really couldn't keep up. I mean, they had evolved into a professional stand-up vocal group. I think the years that I spent 2 years in Vietnam, but those 2 years they were kind of paying their dues, going all over the country.
The farewell to Walter Scott, a quiet goodbye to a gentle legend. The funeral for Walter Scott was more than just a ceremony. It was an emotional farewell that brought tears, memories, and a wave of love that many had kept inside for far too long. You would be amazed by the powerful emotions in that room, from people who had known him personally to fans who had only known him through music. Have you ever noticed how some people give everything they have to the world, pouring their hearts into what they do, yet when they're gone, it feels like they disappeared quietly, as if no one noticed? That's exactly what happened with Walter Scott. He wasn't just a singer. He was a cornerstone of the legendary R&B group The Whispers, and his voice helped shape a generation of soul and slow jams. But when he passed away in 2022 after quietly battling cancer, it seemed like most of the world barely took notice. It's a sad truth, some people don't get the love they deserve until it's too late.
All right, hey fans, it's me and Scotty sitting here, we're waiting on Lavelle. We're pretty excited, we're getting close. Tomorrow's the release date for our new song, How Long, and we're pretty excited about it. Hope you guys like it. We're gonna be interested in seeing how you feel about it.
Walter was one of those people. His influence reached millions, his sound was unforgettable, yet his departure came and went with little fanfare. Why is it that legends often receive their flowers only after they're gone? That's where this story really begins. At his funeral, everything that people had held back during his life came rushing out. Things left unsaid were finally spoken. Tears flowed, hugs were shared, and memories were relived. But to understand the weight of this moment, we need to go back to where it all started. Walter Scott was born in 1943 in Fort Worth, Texas, alongside his twin brother Wallace "Scotty" Scott. From the very beginning, they were more than just twins, they were best friends, musical partners, and nearly identical in how they moved through the world. They began singing together in their teenage years, harmonizing as if they were born to do it. Even though they didn't grow up with much, music was everything to them. In the early 1960s, the Scott twins moved to Los Angeles. There, they met a group of talented young men, Gordy Harmon, Nicholas Caldwell, and Marcus Hudson, who would later become their brothers in sound, forming The Whispers. They started from scratch, playing small shows, performing at talent nights, and doing whatever they could to be heard. Walter was never the loudest in the room, but he didn't need to be. His voice did the talking. Smooth, soulful, and filled with feeling. You felt it when he sang, not because he was trying to stand out, but because he sang from his heart. Just as the group began to gain attention, Walter was drafted into the military during the Vietnam War. It could have ended his music career. For many, that kind of interruption would have been the final chapter. But not for Walter. He served his country and returned without missing a beat, slipping right back into his role like he had never left. By the 1980s, The Whispers were on fire. With hits like And the Beat Goes On and the chart-topping Rock Steady, they became icons of the disco and R&B scenes. Their songs were everywhere: radio, clubs, weddings, and late-night playlists. Walter never chased solo fame. He didn't try to break off and go his own way. He was loyal to the group, to his brotherhood, and that says a lot about the kind of man he was. But behind the scenes, something heavy was happening. Walter had cancer. And in true Walter fashion, he kept it to himself. Not because he was ashamed, but because he didn't want sympathy. He didn't want to burden others. He kept showing up, even as the pain increased, even as his body changed. Most people would have stepped aside. But Walter kept going. Quietly, with dignity. And while he kept performing, fans kept sharing old videos of him online, talking about how his voice still gave them chills. Most had no idea he was fading. That's the kind of quiet strength he had. When he passed, it was like a chapter ended, but at his funeral, a new one began. It was held in Northridge, California, a peaceful space filled with people who truly knew Walter. Not just as a performer, but as a man. His twin, Wallace, stood in front of the crowd and tried to speak. But you could hear the pain in every word. This wasn't just a man losing his brother. This was one half of a soul saying goodbye to the other. Wallace spoke about their childhood, the dream they built together, singing into hairbrushes and sneaking into talent shows. His voice cracked, and you could feel the pain in the room. When you lose your twin, you lose a piece of yourself. Then, another group member, Lavelle, stood to speak. He's usually calm, composed, the steady hand. But that day, he was visibly shaken. He tried to talk, but the words wouldn't come at first. Then, with a trembling voice, he spoke about their early days in L.A., crashing on floors, dreaming of making it big. He called Walter the backbone of the group. The one who kept things on track. The one who never complained. Then something unforgettable happened. Lavelle took a deep breath and began to sing, no music, no mic, just his raw voice. It was a broken version of Let's Go All the Way. The notes weren't perfect. That didn't matter. In that moment, it felt like Walter was in the room. Like his spirit had returned for one last song. When Lavelle finished, he didn't say another word. The silence afterward said everything. The room broke into slow, heartfelt applause, not for the performance, but for the man, for the love, for the bond. This wasn't about fame, awards, or chart positions. It was about showing Walter Scott the respect he always deserved. Sadly, not everything in music is fair. The Whispers helped shape the sound of a generation, yet they didn't always get paid fairly. Streaming changed the game, and not for the better. The big checks often went to labels and middlemen, not the artists. Walter never complained. But those close to him knew it hurt. Imagine giving your life to music, and then watching others build empires off your sound while you quietly struggle. Yet, through it all, Walter kept performing. Kept smiling. Kept singing. But here's the thing: no contract or royalty statement can erase what Walter left behind. His legacy is written in melodies that still move people. In songs that make you stop, reflect, and feel something real. That's something no industry machine can take away. Questlove once called Walter the uncle whose scats could dust you. That wasn't just praise, it was acknowledgement. Walter was a giant in his own quiet way. And thanks to those who loved him, his story will never be forgotten. So if you've ever played a Whispers song at a wedding, a cookout, or during a long late-night drive, know that you're part of Walter's legacy. And if you believe he deserves more recognition, share his story. Let his music live on. Because Walter Scott gave the world more than just his voice, he gave us a reason to listen. Yet, through it all, Walter kept performing. Kept smiling. Kept singing. But here's the thing: no contract, no royalty statement, no industry oversight can ever erase what Walter left behind. His legacy wasn't forged in boardrooms or Billboard charts, it was carved into the hearts of those who heard his voice. His spirit lives in melodies that still move people. In harmonies that make you stop, reflect, and feel something real. That's something no industry machine can ever take away. Questlove once called Walter the uncle whose scats could dust you. That wasn't just praise, it was acknowledgement. Walter was a giant in his own quiet way. He didn't chase the spotlight, it found him because he carried something rare: soul, sincerity, and a sound that stood the test of time. And thanks to those who loved him, to those who remember, to those who refuse to let true artistry fade, his story will never be forgotten. Think about it: how many moments in life have been soundtracked by the Whispers? A family reunion under the stars. A slow dance at your parents' anniversary party. A car ride home when the world felt heavy, and suddenly, and the beat goes on, reminded you that joy still exists. That's not just nostalgia, that's Walter's gift echoing through time. So if you've ever played a Whispers song at a wedding, a cookout, or during a long, late-night drive, you're part of Walter's legacy. And if you believe he deserves more recognition, if you believe artists like him should be celebrated, not sidelined, then share his story. Talk about the voice behind the harmony. Remember the man who stood steady through decades of change, who showed up night after night with that unmistakable tone, making sure the music never stopped. Because Walter Scott gave the world more than just his voice, he gave us a reason to listen. He gave us moments to hold on to. He gave us a soundtrack to our lives. And now, we have a choice. We can let his memory fade into footnotes and liner notes. Or we can say his name. We can play the records. We can pass the music down, like a treasured family recipe. We can honor the legacy of a man who didn't need the limelight to shine. So here's to Walter. For the scats that could dust you. For the smile that never faded. For the songs that still sing us through. If this story moved you, do one thing: keep the beat going. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Let's make sure the world knows who Walter Scott was and what he still is. A voice. A legend. A reason to feel. Thank you for watching. And remember, the music never dies. Not when we choose to keep listening.